So we're going to put together the Algebra tiles foldable. This foldable will kind of give us a description about what all of the pieces are and some of the information about how we can use them. So once we've cut around the outside, now we just need to make 4 more cuts. So these dark lines, this line, this line, this line, and this line need to be cut. So you're going to cut each one. So cut here, and then stop at the dotted line. So go ahead and cut all 4 of those. So after we made those cuts, we can make the 6 flaps. So you fold each of those into the center. So go ahead and fold all 6 of those little flaps into the center. So now let's, on this first upper left-hand box, let's draw the big blue square tile. So draw a big blue square. Okay, so for the big blue square, let me move this out of this glare. For the big blue square, glare's following me. Let's open up to this kind of middle section here where it says dimensions and area. Okay, so in that box, let's draw at the top the big blue square. All right, so the side lengths of the big blue square are x long, so it's a variable. We don't know how long they are. And to find the area of this square, we use length times width. So the area would be equal to the length, which is x, times the width, which is x. And x times x is x squared. And so the area of the big blue square is x squared. And now we'll go over to the name. So we name the piece by its area. So the name of this piece, the big blue square, is x squared. That's why we say squared when we see a little 2, because it correlates to the area of a square. Okay. All right, so let's look at the big red square. So let's draw a big red square on this side. Okay, so the big red square is the opposite of the blue square. So its name is the opposite of x squared. So we'd read that the opposite of x squared. So in this box where it says 0 pairs, we're going to draw a 0 pairs of an x square and its opposite. So we'll go back to our blue colored pencil. So there's an x squared. So if we add an x square and its opposite, so the opposite of an x square, that is a 0 pair. Right? So an x square and its opposite is equal to 0. So that means that x squared plus the opposite of x squared equals 0. All right, so let's move to the x piece. So here we're going to draw the green rectangle. Okay, so on the inside where it says dimensions and area, let's draw an outline of that piece. And if you hold one of those green pieces up next to the blue piece, you'll see they're the same length. So that means the length of the green piece is x. And then we say the height of that green piece is 1 unit. So the area of the green piece is length, which is x, times 1. So it's x. So the name of the green piece is x. And you hear my dog squeaking its toy. Okay. On the other side, let's draw the red rectangle. So the opposite of that piece. So over here, let's draw the red rectangle. Okay, so on the inside of this, let's write the name of that piece. That piece is the opposite of the green piece, so it's the opposite of x. Right, so we'll write the opposite of x. Okay. All right, so let's draw what a zero pair, what those pieces would look like, with the green one and the red one. So a pair of a green piece, a green like rectangle, an X, and its opposite, the opposites form a zero pair. So when we put them together, their value is 0. So this, an X piece and its opposite, are called a zero pair. And the way we could represent that algebraically is this piece, the X piece, plus this piece, the opposite of X piece, equals 0. Okay. All right, so let's draw our last two pieces. Let's first start with the little tiny yellow guy. So let's draw the little tiny yellow piece down here. All right, so that little guy is the smallest piece. I kind of drew it this yellowy off-white. So on the inside, let's fill in its dimensions and area. So for that little guy, if we draw one in here, the lengths of its sides are 1. So if you match up one of those little pieces to the side of this green piece, that's the same length. So the side lengths are 1. And so the area of that piece is length times width, or 1 times 1, which is 1. So the name of this piece, we name each piece by its area, so the name of that piece is 1. All right, on the other side, let's draw its opposite. Let's draw the little tiny red piece. All right, and then here, that piece is the opposite of this piece. So the name of that piece is the opposite of 1, or sometimes we say that as -1. So the name of that piece is the opposite of 1. So we'll write the opposite of 1, or -1. So that piece is the opposite of 1, or -1. So here for the zero pairs, let's draw a zero pairs of 1 and -1. So when we put these two pieces together, this is a positive 1 and this is a -1, so together they make 0. So we call this a zero pair. And so algebraically, if we write the name of this piece 1 plus the name of this piece, which is -1, that adds up to 0. Okay, so now we can take this foldable, this completed foldable, and put it into our interactive notebook. All right, so we'll just take this and put it on our page, like this one that I have here. Right, so just glue it on to the correct page in your notebook.